One day, while I was at the hospital where my husband Matteo works as a nurse, I bumped into Bella, a friend I had made through our children's friendship at the local park. Bella, always vibrant and direct, greeted me with a mix of surprise and confusion. "What are you doing here? This place isn't for you. If you're looking for a job, you're out of luck. Better head back home," she blurted out, leaving me stunned. Her words seemed to hang in the air, causing a brief moment of silence among the nearby doctors, all unsure how to react. I stood there, bewildered, questioning how Bella could say such a thing and worried about the potential fallout from her blunt statement. Despite her usually bold demeanor, it appeared Bella hadn't realized that her words might have crossed a line with me. Yet I couldn't let her comment slide without a response. With a mixture of disbelief and a need to assert myself, I replied, "Bella, you're quite bold, aren't you? Or maybe just unaware?" She looked at me, puzzled, and said, "Huh? What are you talking about?" Let me introduce myself properly. My name is Anna. I'm 29 years old, happily married to Matteo, and a proud mother of 2 wonderful kids, a lively 7-year-old daughter and a playful 1-year-old son. Matteo, who is 3 years younger than me, dedicates his days to caring for patients at the hospital. After having our second child, I've been enjoying maternity leave, cherishing this time with our family. Our living situation improved significantly when we moved from a cramped apartment to a second-hand house we bought with a loan. This old but charming house, with its spacious garden and soothing rooftop view, has become our little sanctuary. It's a place where our children can freely play, and we've grown to love its historical feel. Close by, there's a park that has become our weekend paradise, where our kids can play and explore to their heart's content. It was at this park that I met Bella. Our daughters, being the same age, quickly became friends, which led to Bella and I striking up a friendship. She stood out with her designer outfits, and upon learning she was a surgeon at the local hospital, the same one where Matteo works, I was intrigued. We were excited about this connection and invited her over to get to know each other better. However, Bella's visit to our home didn't go as expected. From the moment she stepped in, her behavior was unexpectedly judgmental, examining our furnishings and questioning whether our home was an ancestral heirloom. We were taken aback by her forthrightness, but tried to remain hospitable. The conversation eventually turned to work, and when Matteo shared that he was a nurse in the emergency department, Bella seemed taken aback, not realizing that he wasn't a doctor. Matteo explained his situation with humility, mentioning his plans to retake the medical licensing exam the following year. This encounter at the hospital and Bella's visit to our home highlighted the complexities of our newfound friendship. Despite the awkward moments, these experiences shed light on our different perspectives and backgrounds, ultimately enriching the tapestry of our lives. Bella's reaction to our life choices was filled with skepticism and a hint of judgment. Her surprise was evident when she learned about Matteo's path from medical school to nursing. Her words tinged with an implication that perhaps our financial decisions were driven by necessity rather than choice. It's not often you hear of someone completing medical school but not immediately passing their licensing exam, she mused aloud. Her questions about our ability to support our family and manage our finances, including the mortgage on our older second-hand home, felt intrusive and left us feeling exposed. Despite the sting of her words, we could only respond with forced smiles, unsure how to navigate the conversation. After Bella left, I apologized to Matteo for the discomfort she had caused. "I'm really sorry if Bella made you feel uneasy. Maybe it's better if I keep my distance from her," I suggested. Matteo, ever supportive, simply offered a reassuring smile and reminded me that while Bella's personality was certainly unique, it wasn't worth our worry. This experience led me to the decision that, while connecting with other moms in the neighborhood was valuable, becoming too entangled with Bella might not be in our best interest. Life moved forward and we welcomed our second son into the world. As we celebrated his first milestones, I began to contemplate returning to work. With the support of Matteo's parents, who lived nearby and helped with the children, the idea seemed more feasible. Then, on a day I had matters to attend to at the hospital, I found myself crossing paths with Bella once again. Her greeting was laced with the same sarcastic undertone I had come to expect. "Are you here to see Matteo? Or maybe for a job interview? It must be tough on just his income," she said, smirking. Her probing continued even as I tried to keep the conversation light. When she inquired about where I might be working part-time within the hospital's various shops, I excused myself, citing an upcoming appointment, and quickly departed. My actual destination was far from what Bella might have imagined. I was heading to the director's office for a significant job consultation. After a productive discussion, I made my way to the university's large auditorium for an important announcement from the director, an event that had gathered all the hospital staff. Running into Matteo, we made lunch plans, looking forward to enjoying some time together, a rare treat given our busy schedules. As we walked towards the auditorium, I had the chance to catch up with some of my former colleagues. The warmth and congratulations on our new family addition were heartening, and their comments about my absence reminded me of the impact I had made. Yet, the pleasant atmosphere shifted when Bella reappeared, questioning my presence and whether I was heading to the auditorium. Despite the awkwardness Bella often brought into our interactions, these moments highlighted the strength of our family's bond and the respect I had garnered in my professional life. Matteo and I navigated these encounters with the understanding that, while not all relationships are straightforward, the support we have for each other and the recognition from those who truly know us were what mattered most. "I'm here on some business," I replied to Bella, trying to keep my tone modest yet clear despite the awkwardness her questions introduced in front of my colleagues. Bella, however, didn't let up. "But this meeting is only for doctors and nurses, right? Why would a part-timer be here?" she prodded, her skepticism thinly veiled. Her question hung in the air, casting an uncomfortable silence over the corridor, as if questioning my presence was questioning my worth. A murmur of disbelief spread among the doctors. "Is she serious?" one whispered, concern lacing his words. I attempted to remain calm, not wanting to escalate the tension, but Bella persisted. "Why are you ignoring me? You seem lost. The auditorium isn't this way. If you're looking for part-time work, it's in the other direction. Now, please leave," she said, disdain evident in her voice. The doctors around us were visibly taken aback by Bella's rudeness, moving to my side in a show of support. They collectively voiced their disapproval, their expressions a mix of disappointment and anger. "What kind of way is that to speak to Anna? Apologize to her now." They insisted, their united stance making it clear they found Bella's behavior unacceptable. Confused by the pushback, Bella tried to defend her stance, insisting I didn't belong at the meeting meant for relevant personnel. But I had had enough. "Bella, you really are bold, or is it that you're just oblivious?" I replied, my patience worn thin. Her inability to grasp the gravity of her actions was astonishing. "You'll understand soon enough the repercussions of your actions and words," I added, the doctors around us nodding in agreement, their looks of sympathy for Bella non-existent. "You might want to start looking for another job while you still can," one doctor commented, reflecting the group's sentiment. Bella's frustration grew as she couldn't comprehend why I was held in such high regard. "Why are all of you defending her so much? I don't get why she's so special," she exclaimed. The revelation that I was the new surgical specialist, unknown to Bella, only added to her embarrassment. "So, you didn't know Anna?" "That's quite unfortunate," another doctor chimed in, highlighting Bella's ignorance. Her frustration boiled over, demanding an explanation, unable to understand how she had misjudged the situation so gravely. To me, Bella's attitude was a stark reminder of the importance of respecting every individual's role and contribution, regardless of their job title. The fact that someone with such a narrow view of professional worth was among us was disheartening. Unbeknownst to her, I was exactly the person she should have shown the most respect to. As the doctors left the scene, their cold stares toward Bella spoke volumes, leaving her isolated in her misunderstanding and reminding everyone of the value of respect and recognition in our diverse professional community. "I'll catch up with you later, Bella. You might think less of Matteo because he's a nurse, but trying to measure up to him is a challenge you'll never win. Your competitive nature really misses the mark here," I replied calmly, shaking my head slightly at her misunderstanding. Bella, clearly caught off guard, pressed. Hold on, who are you exactly? You're not just a part-timer, are you? Her voice rose with curiosity and a hint of frustration. With a knowing smile, I said, You'll understand everything in due time, and quickly made my way to the auditorium, leaving Bella in a state of confusion. As I entered the auditorium, I noticed it was already filled with doctors, and the director was about to start the meeting. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Today, we discuss our hospital's future and some exciting new plans, he began, capturing everyone's attention. Mateo found me in the crowd and whispered, Anna, did Bella cause any trouble? I assured him it was a minor misunderstanding, and we shared a quiet laugh at the situation. The director then announced an overseas training program, a first for our hospital, selecting 10 medical professionals for the opportunity. The room buzzed with excitement at the prospect of learning advanced medical techniques abroad. To everyone's surprise, the director first called out Dr. Bella for her outstanding clinical skills, making her one of the chosen for the overseas training. Despite the earlier conflict, her professional achievements were undeniable, and the applause that followed was genuine. As the director continued naming the selected participants, the atmosphere was filled with a mix of anticipation and support. Though Mateo's name wasn't called, he remained upbeat, celebrating his colleagues' opportunities. When it was time for the selected individuals to speak, each expressed their gratitude and determination. Bella, speaking with her usual confidence, thanked everyone for the opportunity and pledged to bring back advanced medical knowledge to benefit the hospital. However, in a twist of irony, Bella ended her speech by pointing out the hospital's supposed lack of experienced nurses, perhaps forgetting her earlier encounter and the lesson it should have taught about humility and respect. Bella's bold statement about the need to address the hospital's shortcomings, including those who fail exams and non-regular staff attending medical conferences, shifted the mood of the gathering. Her remarks, meant to highlight issues, only served to alienate her from the audience, with even the director's gaze growing stern, adding gravity to the situation. The director, maintaining his calm, directly addressed Bella, asking if her comments were aimed at certain individuals present. Bella, with unwavering confidence, affirmed that she was indeed referring to those she deemed unfit for such a prestigious gathering. In a surprising turn, the director called me, Anna, to the front, making me the unexpected focus of everyone's attention. Bella's confusion was palpable as she struggled to understand why I was being highlighted. The director expressed his disappointment in Bella's judgment and asked me to introduce myself. I shared my journey, including my role as the head of the medical department and my temporary departure for maternity leave, announcing my return to work. Bella's reaction to learning I was the chief of the medical department was one of utter surprise, her disbelief echoing through the room. The director's revelation that I was also his daughter added a layer of complexity to the situation, leaving Bella speechless. The director then announced Bella's assignment as the team leader for an upcoming training mission in a conflict zone in the Middle East, a challenging assignment that would test her skills. He mentioned that I would be there to support her, urging Bella to learn as much as she could. In response to Bella's assertion of her clinical skills, I clarified the significance of my future role in taking over the directorship of the hospital from my father, implying that Bella's future at the hospital could depend on her behavior and attitude. Bella's reaction shifted from shock to agitation, realizing the implications of her earlier disrespect. The director concluded the meeting by emphasizing that, while excellence is important, the true measure of success in the hospital is the results one achieves. He expressed high expectations for Bella, leaving her in a reflective silence. This moment underscored the importance of respect, teamwork, and the understanding that positions and titles do not necessarily reflect one's contribution or importance within a professional community. After the meeting adjourned, everyone dispersed back to their duties. Stepping out, I suggested to Mateo, how about we grab some lunch? I'm in the mood for pasta. Together we walked toward our go-to pasta spot, leaving the hospital's hustle behind. As we neared the small designated smoking area, we noticed Bella, lost in thought with a cigarette in hand. Our eyes met briefly, but she quickly looked away. Suddenly, our casual stroll was interrupted by the loud sound of a car crash nearby. Without hesitation, Matteo and I rushed to the scene. Matteo, with his emergency nurse instincts, immediately checked on the accident victims, including a pedestrian caught in the chaos. Bella followed but seemed unsure amidst the emergency. I started giving out instructions based on our medical training. "Matteo, help that man to safety and check his pulse," I directed, relying on Matteo's proven skills honed under my guidance in various medical situations. To Bella, I said, "Check the elderly person for bleeding and consciousness," hoping she'd snap into her professional role. However, Bella froze, overwhelmed by the urgency. When Bella hesitated, I urged her more firmly, but she responded with panic, unsure of what to do. Her inaction only added to the moment's stress. In a critical tone, I questioned her capability, which sparked a defensive but ineffective flurry of activity from her. Turning back to Matteo, I instructed, "Please, check the elderly person's blood pressure and look for any signs of bleeding." Matteo immediately set to work, bringing some order to the chaos. Seeing Bella's lack of useful action, Matteo sternly told her to either help or step aside. Her protest was cut short as Matteo emphasized the gravity of our task. Eventually, Bella stepped back, unable to contribute. Matteo updated me on the victim's conditions, suggesting a thorough check for any internal injuries. I coordinated the emergency response, demonstrating the importance of teamwork and quick action in such situations. When I asked Bella to call an ambulance, her hesitation showed again. Matteo had to take over, swiftly arranging for medical backup. The arrival of emergency services began to stabilize the scene, drawing a crowd of medical personnel. I then addressed Bella directly, pointing out her actions were more obstructive than helpful. I questioned her on what she believed she had achieved in this critical moment. Her silence was telling. I reminded her that in our field, every second counts and that this was no place for ego. Bella's quiet apology was a somber acknowledgement of the lessons learned that day. After the incident at the accident scene, the quiet crowd, including the director, watched as I addressed Bella. She stood out, looking both out of place and embarrassed. "Bella, you've underestimated Matteo just because he's a nurse. But comparing yourself to him doesn't make sense. He's one of the most skilled nurses here. Can't you see how your actions today fell short?" I pointed out, hoping to make her understand the gravity of her actions. Bella, still holding on to a bit of pride, argued that with more emergency experience, she could have handled the situation better. Matteo, however, saw through her facade. "Your drive for recognition has blinded you to your actual skill level, which, as today has shown, is lacking," he said, highlighting the gap between her aspirations and her abilities. Matteo's words hinted at a larger issue. Bella's misplaced confidence might prevent her from gaining the emergency experience she claimed to desire. Her facade began to crumble, and she looked close to tears, aware of the judgmental eyes around her. In this critical moment, I had to make a tough decision for Bella's future. "Bella, because of today's events, we're removing you from the list for overseas training," I announced. I sought the director's approval, and he agreed, suggesting this incident could lead us to rethink our selection criteria for training opportunities. I then gave Bella a piece of advice, hoping it might guide her towards genuine improvement. "You need to start from the basics again. That's the only way you'll truly be able to stand on equal footing with Matteo. And remember, judging someone's value by their job title is dangerous. While we considered letting you go, we're giving you one last chance. Use it wisely." As time passed, the day for the overseas training finally arrived for Matteo and me, filled with anticipation for what we would learn. As for Bella, news reached me that she had resigned a month after the incident, unable to face the judgment from her colleagues. In my eyes, this was perhaps for the best. A doctor driven by pride above all else isn't fit to care for patients. On our way to the airport, I shared my hope with Matteo. "Let's use what we learned to make our hospital renowned worldwide." Matteo, equally determined, added, "I'll work even harder to get my medical license." This incident reaffirmed my commitment to my duties as a doctor and the importance of humility, skill, and dedication in our profession.